a great session. I mean, and majorly, I would, again take some cues. What was discussed was, sustainability that strike me. I heard a lot of people talking about that, we should plan better so that we can accommodate costs at a later stage. And, we should look at the total overall cost of the system when we are deciding to pick the materials or the surfacing solutions for any hospital building. The second aspect that I picked was, when Mr. Abdul Hamid from Johnson & Johnson, if I'm correct, if I'm not misnaming him, he mentioned that, we use Tyvek packaging and, you can keep an instrument sterile for almost like 2 years if you're using the Tyvek packaging. So why I said so is that I come from the same company, which is Dupont, and Dupont is a science company, and we have many hero brands, which people are aware of, and Korean design is also a part of Dupont. So Tyvek, Teflon, Kevlar, Nomex, all of these are some of the known brands across the world, invented by Dupont. So I'll come to the Korean design, which was invented almost like 51 years back, 1965, by Dr. Slocum. And we have seen this product being used across the globe in various applications. And I would run you through where Korean is being used today in the hospital environment and how it is helping doctors, surgeons, or even the hospital owners reduce the hospital-acquired infections. So the agenda is, yes, we'll talk about what is Korean. I think most of you might be aware about it, would have felt it at some of the areas, be it restaurants, be it office spaces, you would have seen it on the tabletops. But I would emphasize more on how it is helping in an hospital environment. So leading from the reception to the public vanities, to the the wall claddings and the OT, operation room wall cladding as well. Yes, as it was said that hospital acquired infections are basically when a patient is arriving at the hospital, and these are the settings where he comes to heal, but he is without knowing he gets these infections, and these infections are known as hospital acquired infections. The issue, I think most of the sessions before this session, they spoke about this issue, and the global prevalent rate, the WHO says that it is around 7 to 12% across the globe. Western countries, we see it even less than 1%, but even in some of the countries it is as high as 8%. So which means even in USA, because we take generally that as a standard, still 3 persons who are discharged from the hospital, they acquire the hospital acquired infections. India, the rate is 10 to 30% for the reported cases, and we don't know wherever the cases are not being reported or it's not a NAB accredited hospital, we don't have the data and we haven't calculated that. We talk about the challenges when we are using, so you would have seen, we have seen wood. Again, we spoke about the sustainability, we should use the natural resources judiciously. But of course, in hospital environment, you don't even just think about the, the cost as the most important factor, but you look at what is sustainable, what is the surfacing solution that you're using, how it is helping you to have better hygienic and infection-free surfaces. The challenges with the local traditional materials or the natural materials or other materials was they delaminate, there is peeling. For example, if you talk about the walls being painted, there are VOCs, there are harmful VOCs, there are fire, I mean in terms of the fire protection, the fire safety hazards. There are, if something gets wrong with these materials, traditional materials, for example, let it be wood or any other laminate or something else, if there is anything wrong, you can't repair it. You'll have to replace the entire surface, even with the granite or any other surface. But we would talk about how Korean in this environment is helping, look after these issues, and how, you are better compliant when you are using Corian in the healthcare environment in terms of reducing the hospital-acquired infections.
Critical a safe environment is for a hospital. Now we'll continue our exploration of hospitals, this time considering the building materials that make up a hospital.
So we are sharing the global
Nosocomial
hospitals.
infections, commonly referred to as hospital-acquired infections, are surprisingly widespread. These infections can be acquired by patients as well as the hospital staff. Surfacing walls in the operation theatre and the intensive care unit. A clean sanitary surface prevents the spread of infection to a high extent.
What are the features of Corian that make it ideal for a hospital environment for starters, and other features of Corian?
You mentioned about non-porous, the characteristic of Corian. What that really means.
So I'll skip that.
With Corian's application, the walls are 100% safe from contact with various kinds of microorganisms.
I want to very specifically walk through the benefits of Corian with you.
Easy to maintain, non-toxic. Any change you want to bring about them, you can bring them at the site. Here if you see, you will find it totally spotless. There is no stain around it, it's one shell, there are no surfaces there, and which helps us to reduce the infection also. They are good to the eyes, good for the patient, and free from infection.
Play a very important role in making progress.
As I said earlier, very, very important for us to have minimal infection. If we can bring minimal to zero, there is nothing like it. And I am very sure Corian is helping us to do that.
So with that, we've been doing other hospitals as well, but this is what we had captured on the Times Now Global, which we are sharing with you. This is 1/3 PMMA, which is polymethyl methacrylate, which is a binder, and 2/3, which is the majority, which is ATH, which is aluminum trihydride, which is a mineral, and the mineral from which even aluminum is extracted from bauxite. So this is, and the rest, which gives it the colors and the other thing, these are environmentally friendly pigments. So there isn't anything which is not, environment friendly in this material. And the best part is the properties of Corian. When you are talking about Corian, you are talking about getting surfaces which don't require any kind of grout lines. So that means you can have continuous surfaces without any seams. Thus, this would help you have a better hygienic and maintenance-free surfaces which are easy to maintain and clean. For example, when you are using it in an OT, you will be able to, get it cleaned. The number of, the repetitions or the surgeries that you can undertake in an OT would increase. So this will help even your workforce, their effort in cleaning and maintaining a hospital would reduce. It is not having any VOCs. It's warm to touch and feel. Unlike stainless steel or any other material, when you touch it in hot weather, it would become hot, and in the cold, it will be too cold for the hands. Whereas the Corian has that ambient temperature, that you will not have that drastic difference when you are touching the the surface. It is fire resistant. So by NEFPA guidelines, 101 security code. Life security code. This is class A certified. So the other part is, even if there is a fire, it will not it will not have any kind of droplet forming, which is very which is not I would say feasible, or because the droplets will not help you evacuate the the patients or any other, because they can cause serious burn injuries, which is not the case with the Corian. It is durable, stain resistant, and impact resistant. So I'll go with the various stains that you see in a hospital environment, the blood stains. Even when you are talking about using it in the restaurant tables and tops, using the coffee stains, haldi stains, anything, it will not be onto the surface. you have all these guidelines that the Korean meets. So, which is the NSF guideline, FDA approved. You have the LGA hygiene testing. So, it doesn't promote any kind of a bacterial or the mold growth. So, this is UL2824. By that standard, it doesn't promote these things. Then you can also get the some of the green ratings, because this is a lead rated material. So there are different ratings which you can we can help you, for if you're using it in a hospital, we can help you calculate what are those lead ratings and how you can be benefited from them. These are some of the photographs that I will just show. This is how it looks like when being used in the main lobby areas, public areas, the nurse stations. My favorite is the pediatric areas, because that is what we said when some of the architect as well shared that the owner wanted something that it should be a 5-star facility. See, my point is not having a 5-star facility, but a functional and a aesthetic facility. Out here, when you are talking about the pediatric areas, you can have the colors of Korean that you can choose, different sheets that you can choose, have an inlay done, and create these kind of structures wherein a child who is visiting the hospital doesn't feel like that this is a hospital. At the same time, there won't be any kind of a peeling from these materials, and it is safe because there are no VOCs in it. This is how we do it in the OT cladding. Of course, there are different ways of doing it, different substrates that we choose, but a typical substrate would be an aluminum framing, a kind of a drywall cladding. And so you can have all the supplies and other things running behind these sheets. You get these continuous, the surfaces, easy to maintain and clean. Some of the photographs from the same. Of course, the scrubs, you would have seen even some of the booklets lying here, so which also showcase some of the models that the scrubs you can get from us, standardized product. And it can be customized because you can vary it even in terms of the dimensions of the doctors, in certain cases, if you need that. Patient rooms, you can use it in a lot of areas, the bedhead panels and all, because those are the most, prone areas from where the infection happens, because most of the touch happens there. The lab areas, the countertops, that is where the Korean plays a significant role. You have it in the F&B areas because, even if the food comes in contact with this material, it doesn't get affected. Your food is still the safe. This is what we stand for in India. This is some of the projects that we have done. Somewhere you would see the furnitures. Somewhere you have seen, we have done the OT wall claddings. To be precise, in India, we have done more than 150 operation rooms till date. And the journey hasn't started, long back. I would say our first of the installations would have happened around 2005, and now the majority work is being done after 2010, when people realized that, they should look at the total overall cost rather than just the first capex cost for the material. Some more hospitals, I wouldn't want to take the name because if I skip some, others might get little angry around it. So we love all our customers. This is what we have been doing. So we say at Korean design. So earlier we would say Dupont, but now we are, this is again after 50 years we thought of rebranding it, and we said Korean design, which means make your space. So we are customizing it to your requirements. We are not saying that this is something standard which you have to use. We will customize it based on your drawings, your plans, so that it can be used both aesthetically, functionally, and helping you solve some of the problems or the challenges that are there. Some of the innovations that are happening with Korean is, if you see a picture wherein a phone is being placed on the countertop, that means if you are using Korean with Korean wireless charging surfaces, you don't need any kind of wires on the top of the benches or the surfaces. You can simply place your phone, get it charged. The applications are many. We can discuss it one-to-one. The other thing is, Korean comes with a 10-year installed warranty, and we have got quality network fabricators across India. So you don't have to think about, if you are using Korean, how will you get the service, who would take care of it. This 10-year installed warranty comes from the company. It's not from any dealer or a distributor or a fabricator. So the authenticity remains there. See, I would say for a doctor or for a consultant or for an architect, we come as a total solution provider. So the material comes in the form of sheets. So with a thickness of 12 mm or 6 mm, and with a different sheet size, like 2.5 feet by 12 feet for the 12 mm sheet size, and with different colors. So we have more than 90 colors in India that are there.
And it is already existing building.
Yeah. In an existing OT? See, what we'll need to see is what is the present substrate in that OT. That means, what are the present walls? Is it a SS thing that you have done, or you have done any kind of a, EPG sheeting or PVC cladding or something? So we can incorporate it. So because, we need to bring the sheet panels and have them joined together and create this shell structure inside. Also, I would place that as a thought with you guys is when you are using Korean for an OT 20 feet by 20 feet and 10 feet height, we can get the job done in 3 to 4 days complete with the substrate and with the final finish.
How long does it last?
So, very interesting question, but thank you for asking that. See, we say Korean lasts. There is, in the accelerated life tests that we have done, we have seen nothing would happen wrong with Korean for even 90 years and more, because we haven't tested it beyond that. But I say because it is weatherproof, there is no effect of UVs, there is no effect, there is no porosity, so it won't absorb anything which would deteriorate over a period of time. There are no termite or any other things that can affect it. No, so I say when I say it comes with a 10-year installed warranty, we say we can get it rebuffed or refinished after 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, whenever you want. The second thing is, the best property of this material is, if you want to make any changes, you can cut particular sizes. If you want to make any slots, again, do whatever you want and refinish it without having the joint lines and stuff. So that's the beauty with this material.
When you're doing this, confirm the color compatibility. See, you are going to redo a finish
Yeah.
after the 10 years.
Yeah.
Can you assure me that color compatibility will be there with the...
Yeah, so I'll tell you, sir, and that is where the quality comes. So glacier white is a famous color in Korean, which you would have seen the white color being used. From 50 years, the shade is still the same. I mean, and that is per records, what we have seen. Only when we are using it in the exterior, there are certain grades, which we recommend, because it's also used for facades. So wherein the UV stability is more, we would recommend those colors. But inside, it would remain the same.
Obviously, it is washable.
Absolutely, sir. Yeah.
And one problem is patients sitting and dye in the hair and all. It doesn't get stained by dye in the hair.
That is what I said, sir. Even if you have the nail polish paints, or you actually paint it. So people have used it in the facades in the areas where there is a lot of problem of graffiti in Western countries, and you can also remove the graffiti from the surface, and it will be again same. We have videos, but the other audience might want to, and I am being watched for my time, so I can send you these details, sir. I can send with you the video for the same. Okay. So as I said, 20 feet by 20 feet, 10 feet height, doing all the ceiling, walls, 4 walls, you can assume approximately between 10, 12 lakhs and beyond, complete with the, the fixtures, which is the aluminum framing, everything at the back of it. Yes, sir. 20 into 20 and 10 feet height with ceiling, with the walls, it would be approx 10, 12 lakhs and beyond based on the colors that you choose. The basic you can get at 10 lakhs or so. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.